Hey everyone, welcome to Buick Outdoors. If you're new around here, my name is Sheldon Marion, and about a month ago I bought this boat at an auction, and since I bought it we've done some work to it. We've cleaned it all out, scrubbed it all down. We replaced the drum and pulley system, and now today is the day that we figure out if it'll run or not. But before we do that, we have to hook onto it, drag it over to the side of the house. We have access to water, mix up some gas for it, hook up a battery, and then we'll see if she cranks. Anyways, I'm gonna grab the truck. We're gonna get hooked up to her. Alright, so we got the boat where we need to be. We just have to have it over here so we can hook up our water to the leg here. And before we go ahead, I have to run out to the gas station, and I have a small jerry can, a little 10 liter I'm going to pick up, and I'm going to go and fill that thing up, and then that way we can test this all out with about 10 liters of gas. That way if it doesn't go according to plan, we're out 10 liters, not 25. So anyways, I'm gonna unhook the boat, grab gas, we'll be right back. Alrighty, so we just got back from the store there. Got my 10 liters of gas. I'm gonna get this in here real quick though first, because the old jerry can that I got is a crack in it, so it's slowly leaking fuel out. Oil, mixer. We have our gas line, fuel collector, that's a screw onto there. I grabbed an extra one for the hose in case the hose screws up. So with this, we gotta screw this into here, and then we'll dump in our gas, and then I'll mix up our oil here too. Before we fill this up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my oil in here first. Then that way, as I'm transferring the fuel into there, it kind of automatically mixes everything up. So I have this gas oil mixing bottle, and we're going to be running a 50-to-1 mixture. And on the back here you have this little diagram. It goes 100-to-1, 50-to-1, 40-to-1, 24-to-1, and then on the left side we have liters. On the right side we got gallons. So because this one we're running 10 liters, We're gonna go between 9.5 and 11.4, which is right in here. And if we fill up to that mark with oil and then dump it in here, it'll be perfect enough of a 50-to-1 oil mixture. So here we're right between the 9.5 and the 11.4 liters. So that's roughly 10. Very simple. Take her, dump her in. Put a lid on, top in our 10 liters of gas. Now what we'll do is we'll take this lid, throw her on there, and with the vent closed, we'll just kind of give her a bit of a shake. There we go. And that should be pretty well mixed up. Open up that vent so it releases any of that gas. Built up pressure there. And yeah. So now we've got that taken care of. This jerry can can go in the garbage because there's a big crack in it. But now what we'll do is we'll move on to the boat here and we'll finalize this all up and get the battery in, hook up the gas, and we'll see if this whole girl will run. So before we go any further, what I'm going to do here first, I had to buy a new fuel line for it. And when you're buying these, on the bottom it says what it's for: Johnson Evinrude. Some will say Mercury, some will say Yamaha, some will say Suzuki. And you just gotta make sure that it is in fact the right one. So with these, you have a little locker here, and pretty straightforward. One side goes in onto your fuel tank here, then the other one goes to the boat motor. There we go. You gotta push a little harder, that's all. So the priming bulb, this here, when you squeeze this, it actually pulls fuel up, and there's an arrow, like a directional flow. So with this arrow pointing this way down to this end, you got to make sure that you install this correctly. So this way this goes to the motor. So now we know that this side will in fact click into this. I'm going to make sure this side clicks into the motor. And yeah, because you don't have fuel, it don't matter if you have the best battery in the world, it ain't going to start. So let's head back to the back of the boat here, and we'll just see if it actually clicks in to place or not. So at the back of the boat here, make sure directional arrow is going to this one, and let's see if this actually fits or not. Yep, clicks right in, so we're good to go there. I think temporarily what I'll do is I'll just kind of take this and I'm just going to drape it over the end, and we won't quite plumb this completely in just yet until we actually know for sure everything's going to be up and running and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll run in, I'll grab the battery, bring that out, we'll get that all set up, and we're getting real close to see if this thing will actually start up or not. So the boat battery that I'm using here, or I shouldn't even call it the boat battery, the battery for the boat, it's actually not a marine battery at all. I was talking to a guy I know who has a bunch of equipment, and I was just kind of telling him about the boat and all that. And I said, yeah, I need to buy a battery. And he said, hey, don't go out and buy one, I'll just give you one. So he gave me this big commercial battery. It's loaded with amperage, and yeah, it'll definitely crank the motor. But because of the terminals are just a regular battery post terminal, it's a real simple fix. You buy these marine battery terminals, And basically what you do, take this, put it on the terminal, and then when you bolt that down, you unscrew these little wing nuts here, and then you're able to put all your electrical components on it that way, instead of having the post come with the battery itself. A little bit tricky, or not tricky, but a little stiff to kind of get on there, but we'll get these on there. We'll throw the boat in, or we'll throw the battery into the boat, and then I think we gotta clean up the terminals a little bit, kind of a deal, and then yeah, eventually I'll replace those, but for now I'm just gonna scratch them up with some sandpaper just to kind of clean them up a little bit, and then hook up the fuel, see if it starts. Alrighty, we are getting real close to this here. I replaced my little screw and the nail that was holding that in with new pins. Get this out of the way. Now we'll have access to the battery cables. Now these battery cables, they're pretty they're not corroded that bad, but they're just kind of dirty. So I just got some sandpaper. This is just 320 grit sandpaper, and I'm basically just gonna rough them up a little bit, just to kind of get a little bit more polish on them. Then that way the connection to the battery itself will be much better. So as you can see, these cable, they're a little bit corroded, a little bit rusty. I'm hoping if I kind of rough them up a little bit, it'll be enough to get some shiny metal through, and then they'll make a half decent connection on the battery. So with that, I think we'll call that good enough. Now I will hook up the battery, get the water going, hook up the fuel, and we'll give her a crank. There you go, that's on there. Now I'm just gonna grab the fuel tank, drop it in over here on the other side. Now I'm just gonna run the fuel line just up and over, and we'll get this all hooked up here. Here we go. So one thing that's an absolute must with these when you go to fire them up is you don't want to run them dry at all. So on the legs here, they have little up, what do they call them? Whatever they call it. This sucks the water up and it runs it through the motor to cool it off. And with this one, you can see it there, those little dots right here. Normally they're kind of a little bit higher up, like on newer ones, and you can use like those round muff styles. But with this one, because it's so close to that bottom, I bought a set of these. So like kind of a rectangle one. So I'm hoping that the fit is a little bit better, it's a little bit tighter. But basically what you do is you hook your water up to here, you put it onto your outboard, you turn your water on, and you should have water coming through. If not, once as you start it, the water should start to come through, and if it doesn't, make sure you shut it off right away, otherwise you can kind of damage your motor. So I'm just gonna grab my water line, hook it all up, and then I'll show you this all rigged in. So normally these are actually kind of hard to get on, but with this one, it looks like I can pretty well do it one-handed. So you simply take it, put it on there. You want to make sure that those holes are within your little cavity here. So that way when I turn on the water, it goes through here, it comes up, it comes through the engine, and should come shooting out there. And that's your main source of coolant. There's no antifreeze or anything like that in this entire system. So if this doesn't work, you're basically just gonna cook your engine right away. So we'll see once I turn on the garden hose. We'll see if this actually flows with water. Before that, I'm just gonna take the little cowling up top off, and then that way we have access to the motor, see if there's any leaks and anything like that. So yeah, let's get to this. I'll come over here. The seal isn't too great on this thing, but we'll see here. Once we crank that motor, we'll see if it comes out through here. So far, you know, there's nothing leaking in here or anything crazy like that. So now we got our tank hooked up. Make sure this vent is open, which it is. Battery's hooked up. Our fuel line is going the right way. And with these, you want to squeeze these until they get fairly hard. And right about there, we'll call that good enough. Now we'll go up to the controls of the boat. We got there's slow and start on here, so we'll open up the throttle till it's on start. We're gonna make sure that it's out of gear, and yeah, we'll see what happens here. So if I look back there, so that should be reverse, that should be neutral, and then if we watch, you see that piece there moving, right about there should be start. That's full throttle, so we'll go like that. On the left side, you can see that thing moving, so that's fully engaged into forward. Coming back into neutral is a little iffy, but if you go back into reverse, when you go into neutral right about there, you can kind of feel it slightly engage. So now what I'll do is I'll hop into the front. I got the old keys here, and we'll crank it, see what happens. Alrighty. Choke. Well, it tried to start. Ooh, let's get close. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just quickly run back to the back here and give that fuel tank another prime. So the last time there, it tried to go with the choke on. Just try it straight. It's running. Holy cow, guys, I think we have ourselves a boat. See the water coming out here? Let's give her a little throttle. Bring her down to an idle. Wow, it actually idles nice. It starts. Oh man, I am so happy about that. I can't quite reach. Oh, that is awesome. Well, we're this close to actually taking this out, putting it on the water. Motor cranks, motor starts, motor runs, motor idles. When you're doing this, I don't want to rev it right up. We can do that when we get to the lake, kind of a deal. But man, I'm happy. And it comes to show you that you don't need a whole pile of money to get yourself a boat and that runs. You're definitely going to take chances if you buy something secondhand and used like this. But take it from me, bought a boat at an auction for $700. Sure, I had to clean it up and take some garbage out of it, sweep it out, get a new battery, get a new gas tank, get a new fuel line, fix the drum. But you know, a boat like this, if I was to sell this boat right now how it is in this area anyways, this would be like right around $4,000 or $5,000 boat, to be honest with you. There's a lot of boats out there that you can buy for like 2,500 bucks. But you know, the carpet's moldy, or it comes with no engine, and whatever the case may be, or it needs a little bit of work and there's a hole in the hull. So with that all being said, I'm extremely happy with this thing so far. One thing I do have to do now though is I have to go down to the insurance place, and before we put it into the water, I have to go and get this boat registered. On top of that, I have a little bit of work to do on the trailer itself. It came with this as a safety chain and has a master lock on it, so we have to snip that off. We're gonna change that out. I have just a quick link and a snap hook, so that'll be easy enough to fix up. I might just get a new set of chain as well for this, but that chain doesn't look that bad. But yeah, we are extremely close to getting this done. And yeah, I think the next thing that we're gonna do, I'm just gonna fix that chain. I'm not even gonna film that. I'm gonna cut the lock and put on a little snap, like it's whatever. But once I get this thing registered, I'll put the registration on it, put the numbers on it and all that good stuff. Do a once over, then we'll take her out to the lake, see if it floats and drives. Anyways guys, I hope you liked this video, and I hope you like this little journey. I have a couple of videos before this one if you want to check those out. There'll be a link in the description below. There'll also be one or two of them at the very end in like the credits kind of a thing. But anyways, yeah, if you like this video, give her a thumbs up there in the bottom corner, leave me a comment or two, give me words of encouragement, tell me if I'm doing anything wrong, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.